What is up? Welcome back to our ongoing mixing series where we're mixing a song from the very beginning all the way to a finished mix. And in this video, we're going to dive deep, get our hands dirty, and start balancing some levels. Hey yo, it's Alex from Metamind Music, and as always with this channel, it's my mission to help you, the artist, produce themselves by developing their mindset, expanding their creativity, and connecting to their music in a deeper way. So in the previous videos of this series, we went deep into organizing our session, making sure everything makes sense and is organized. Then we dove deeper into setting up some effects, setting up some routing, and now we're going to get our hands dirty and start balancing some levels with some volume and panning. So let's go ahead and transition. All right, and a pro tip for you is before you start mixing your song, I highly encourage you to listen to a playlist of your favorite music or some music that sounds similar to the track you're mixing, just to acclimatize your ears towards what a great sounding mix sounds like in your headphones or through your monitors before you actually go ahead and start messing around with levels. All right, so after you've listened to a few of your favorite songs through whatever system you'll be mixing through, so some headphones, some monitors, you're feeling good, you're feeling excited, then listen to the track from start to finish to get a feel for the entire song and make special notes of any special moments, anything you want to highlight, and start to assemble a vision of what you want this song to sound like through your mixing. Then once we've done that, it's a great idea to bring down all the volume faders and then start bringing up our tracks one at a time and starting to find a balance for their levels as well as their positioning in the stereo field. So I'm going to go ahead and play the song from start to finish to acclimatize my ears, and then we'll start diving into the balancing process. Cool. So now I've got a feel for the song, kind of understand what we're going for, and it's already sounding pretty good. So what we're going to do is go through each track and just bring down the volume and bring it back up and try to get a balance with the rest of the tracks as we start to bring it in to just get a fresh balance going. So what I'm going to do is actually just bring everything to zero. All right, so I've brought the volume of all the tracks all the way down, and we're going to go through and add in all the elements one at a time. And a good place to aim for to start is around minus 10 dB for kind of the center volume that you're going for. And the reason for this is that you want to give yourself some headroom for your processing. So once you whip out your EQ, your compressors, saturators, all that kind of stuff, you want to give yourself some headroom to play around with instead of being at the ceiling already. So keeping that in mind, we'll start to aim for minus 10, and we'll just kind of go through the tracks one at a time in different sections and have fun. All right, and a great bonus is if you have a mixer or some sort of MIDI controller to get hands-on control to your volume so you can actually feel it out and have fun that way. So let's listen to this heavy bass, and let's start with the intro. Okay, let's go into the verse. There's our kick drum. And let's bring in the second bass. Somewhere around there. And in case you're wondering about all the crazy effects, I have some effects going on the master bus, so don't worry about that. We're just trying to get a feel for the balance of the levels. We'll continue adding some more drums in. going to loop a section with this crash and this ride so we can hear it more often. Bring that ride down a little bit. Cool. Let's go to a section where there's some toms. So in the chorus, we'll just loop this so we can get those tom levels. Sweet. That's sounding pretty good for now. And again, all of this stuff can change as you go. This is just a starting point. Let's actually go to the intro and bring in this guitar. All right. So this track. Notice our bass has disappeared a little bit, so let's turn this one up a little bit. Nice, let's listen to this other part with the guitar. Very nice. Guitar effect sounds nice. So let's go to these heavy guitars in the chorus. So we have two here, left and right. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm actually going to check right away. I'm going to check the mono compatibility of these two guitars. So remember that we mapped from the other video our one to collapse to mono on our master track here. We have a utility, and whenever I hit the one key, it'll enable this mono switch. And I just want to see if on our master fader, if we lose volume with these two guitars being fully panned out. Okay, so let's go ahead and solo guitars. See where they're floating. I'd say minus 17 or so. Slap it to mono. So we do lose a lot of volume when we collapse to mono. Okay, so that's a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the panning less intense. So let's try this. Throw it to mono. Notice we're still getting some volume drops. So again, I'm going to bring in the panning so it's less extreme and test it here. Much better. All right, let's go back over here and let's bring in this other guitar. This guy, this ambience. And let's unsolo guitars so we can hear everything. Great, that's sounding good so far. Let's continue to move on to our next track, which is this whirly lead. So let's find the whirly. Here we go. Kind of want the whirly to be the center of attention. Notice the guitar's more in the back. little loud. Bring it down about a dB. Great, that's a good starting point. Let's continue to move forward. We actually skipped over the guitar solo, so let's listen to that. Let's find it. Here we go. Front and center. Great. That's sounding great. Let's keep moving. So we have this Dirty Rhodes ambience. Let's solo it so we can hear it and bring it up. So that's what it sounds like. Now I'm going to bring it in slowly with the whole mix and listen for that really ambient key sound playing that dissonant chord, and we'll sneak it in, okay? Let's wait for the guitar to come in as well. Funny, I really like the sound of this without the main synth motif. It lets the reverb and the delays of the guitar kind of breathe more. So I might play around with dipping down the main motif almost all the way out, maybe all the way out as we move forward. But let's keep moving forward for now. Let's go to this ARP. I'm just moving down all the tracks and starting to get an initial balance. So let's play around with this arpeggio. Nice. I kind of want it to be like around the head, trippy, but the guitar solo is front and center. So we'll start with that. Let's keep moving to our main synth motif. Okay, so let's find, this is going to be an important level to get right, to make sure we don't clog up everything. So let's go to this verse and let's bring in this main synth motif. Let's find it here. All right, so we'll bring it up slowly. For fun, I might experiment with taking out the main synth motif to let this guitar lead breathe some more. So let's just listen to that and see how it sounds. So what I might do is leave it in, but I'm going to automate the volume right now. And sometimes it's nice to do this, like usually like to stay in flow state to keep all the levels going. But when you have an idea, definitely don't hesitate to stop and make sure you get it. So I'm going to hit A to get into automation mode. And then I'm going to just select this second half of the verse. And then I'm going to hover underneath this automation lane. I'm just going to extend this track so we can actually see it. And see when I'm hovering underneath this line, all of the area I selected is highlighted, and I'm going to drag this down decently so that it becomes the second focus after the guitar in this section. I might bring it down even more. Again, all this stuff might change, but let's leave it for now. We can always adjust this later. Let's keep adding in some more. So let's go with this synth left and right. And keep in mind, again, whenever you have elements that are panned really hard like this, you always want to double check your mono compatibility and make sure that your stereo image is not phasing. Okay, so let's listen to this. Let's go ahead and find this track and both of them together. And then we're going to bring them up. Cool, very subtle layer. And now real quick, I'm just going to solo this group. So we're just hearing these synths. And yet again, we're going to hop over here and we're going to take a quick look at this volume meter on the master. And when I collapse it to mono, we're going to check if we lose any volume. All right, let's check the volume. So we're just over 36, maybe minus 32, 33. Let's throw it to mono. So see how much volume we lose when I throw it to mono. So what I'm going to do to counteract that is to make sure to bring in these synths panning wise so that it's less extreme, so that we have a stereo image that is not phasing. So let's try that again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach for a utility. So I'm going to audio effects, utilities, utility, and smack it on the group with both of these things. I'm going to reduce the width. So now when I hit mono and go back to stereo, we're not losing any volume. So I'm always double checking that as I go, especially with anything that's super wide, because if you're too wide and there's phasing, you're going to lose massive volume when you go to mono. So let's go back here. Let's listen again with everything. I might bring it up a tiny bit volume wise. So let's kick it up a tiny bit. Nice. It's kind of just a call and response texture thing. So I'm happy where that's sitting. Let's go over here to the chords during the solo. So let's play around with the volume here. That's sitting at a good spot. Let's continue with this disaster chord. Let me find it. All right, let's play around with this, kicking it up. Let's listen to what it sounds like. Super high-end frequencies, just adding some texture. Cool, I like where that's sitting. And then let's move on to our strings here. We have a couple sections with strings. So let's go ahead and find these. Got the volumes. Boom. All right, let's play around with bringing these into the verse. Listen to that. Very nice. And let's go to the outro where there's more of a crescendo with these string parts and just listen here. So these string parts are a lot louder and they're way too loud for this part of the song. So again, we're gonna have to automate the volume of these for the outro. And one thing I want to check before we do that is, again, the mono compatibility of these two tracks since they're panned. So let's go back over here. So now we're pretty close. I might shave it down a little bit more somewhere there. Let's give this a listen. There we go, sounding better. We're not losing any volume. And generally when you're mixing, if it sounds good in mono, it's gonna sound great in stereo. But if you're not careful, you can make a mix sound amazing in stereo, but as soon as you collapse it to mono, if you haven't checked it like this, you just lose everything because of phasing and masking. All right, so let's go back to the outro here and make sure that the level for this outro makes sense for these strings. So what I'm going to do is automate the level, the volume of the string group for this outro. So I'm just going to select this amount of time and I'm going to click and drag this down 6 dB because it's quite loud, and we'll just listen to it from here. So I'm going to actually edit this to maybe -4. That was a bit much. Let's throw a whole mix in mono. All right, so now we've gone through every track, and now I'm just going to listen to various parts of the song and make sure that it's all sounding pretty balanced in terms of levels and panning and all that stuff, and everything has kind of a spot to live in. So with that, we have a rough balance of our whole mix. It's already sounding really good. I can already start to hear some of the issues that we're going to tackle in the next video. Hey, if you're just getting started with music production and feeling completely overwhelmed by the process, or if you've been at this for a while but you're having trouble finishing projects, or you just want to get a glimpse inside my personal workflow, I've created a super easy to follow 7-step framework that helps you go from your very first ideas all the way to a finished mix and master. And it's super handy to have around the studio as a printout. So if you're interested in grabbing that, you can find it in the description box below. All right, and with this step of the mixing process done, we have a really good balance going between all of our tracks. It's already sounding pretty good. I've already done some processing and some mixing, but we will go deeper through it. And we're going to go through track by track and get this processing done to really glue it together to fix any issues in the next video. So if you're stoked for that, I will see you in the next video.